So lately here in Dave's world, I've kind of noticed that I have guitars and parts like everywhere, and I really need to do something about it. So I have so many of these little projects laying around that were experiments early on that actually went well, and I just haven't completed. And this is one of them. So we're going to tackle this guitar today, or really over the next, I guess, couple weeks, because although it's done, I'm going to make a neck for it and kind of get that going. So we're going to do a little side project on this one. I have this Korina white Limba. We're going to make a neck out of white Limba, and I'm even thinking of doing the fingerboard out of white Limba. I don't know, but if we do a nice lacquer finish, it might just have the illusion of like a tinted maple neck, kind of like a yellowish sort of look, and it might be really cool on that guitar. This is an experiment. So our Limba's really nice. Like, actually, it might be nicer than what Gibson has, which is pretty sweet. I just got to figure out how to get the absolute most out of this piece because it's so nice. So I'm going to do some mathematics and some thinking, but I think I might be able to get two necks out of this. I just might have to like cut it up in some weird ways. Show the resawing as the saw slows down. It takes a while for this one to speed up and slow down because it's so big. But we'll get a fingerboard, two necks, and that other piece I guess I'll just use for like a cutting board or something, or like some novelty items, but we won't waste it. Seeing this yellow Limba reminds me of being a kid at the Philly Guitar Show back in like the early 2000s when they had like Explorers and Flying V's everywhere. It's so cool. Really like to get these clamped up good because it's not just some box hanging on the wall in somebody's house. It's like an actual instrument. So we're gonna really let this dry for quite a while. Here's the part where we just kind of skim our fingerboard to make sure everything's totally flat. It's probably not totally necessary, but it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy. So this giant, sorry, the camera's kind of a little unstable. But what is stable is this saw and our precision cuts. This fence is getting set up right now by me. And our resaw department for the Lehr Instruments company is going to take care of this, which is also me. It's exactly lined up the way I want. We just have to cut, you know, all this. When I have this, I'm just gonna cut the slots to get them started. I will have like the real depth done when I'm ready. After I radius the board, I'll cut them. But so our neck is pretty much at its like crudest point and still looking like a guitar neck. So what we have to do is we have our nut slot already cut and our fret slots already cut, but I need to scoop this out. Now, me and every guitar builder in the world already has pretty much copied Fender, like, you know, in every way. So I try and do mine just a little bit different, and I kind of scoop it down on a little bit of a harder angle. I start to file the shape of these necks. Sometimes I do it just clamped, like standing up like this. Other times I'll have it laying down. It all depends on, like, I guess how I feel. I'm gonna go for a bigger neck profile, like kind of like a 59, like C shape. And it seems like when I do the bigger, more round necks, I kind of just like to stick them in the vise like this and just carve at them. So that's what we're gonna do. I've never made a Limba neck before, so we're gonna kind of baby it to start so we don't just totally trash our nice piece of wood. I don't really like to use the file with like a giant like wooden handle on it. Kind of just like to grab it the way it is and sort of work with it. This is a really nice heavy one, and you can just work and work until like the day is done and then work some more. First I'm gonna rip into kind of where the heel is first, and I use this little ripper one. The whole board itself is actually kind of easier to work with than I expected. I was thinking it would be a little bit more difficult. See, that took care of that high spot. There's no rock, there's no nothing. I'm really happy with this. This is a really nice fretboard that I'm really proud of. A 12-inch fretboard radius. All the time is take a piece of sandpaper and wrap it around my file. You can really refine what you're doing really fast. Now we get to use my favorite tool, the drill press, but not in a stereotypical fashion. This goes into the drill press and we can insert basically any radius we want, and this is a 12-inch radius. We'll get our frets out here. I'll just kind of go around real slow and just slowly but surely get my radius of my fingerboard. And I'll keep checking as I go along to make sure it's right. This is a really crucial step. If your frets aren't level down onto the fretboard, you know, it's a problem. So this is really important. It's really important not to like smash the fretboard, so you want to definitely go like straight down on it. Then I have these awesome cutters that every guitarist wants. I love how tedious this part is, pressing them in. Ultra satisfying doing this. This is better than those like clickbaity videos on YouTube. Once again, getting good use out of our tool. I like to do my final sanding all by hand. It just kind of makes it look more like wholesome and like down to earth instead of it just being like turned and burned and manufactured. But we're almost ready to go. So our Limba Special is complete. We're gonna take it to the spray shop now, which is really exciting. But before that, we have to sharpen this giant pencil. And in all honesty, it kind of feels like a guitar, or maybe like a bass. Tonight is Saturday night, and usually on Saturday nights I'm out playing guitar, but we didn't have a show tonight, so we're in here at the paint shop. I forgot how wild these city streets get on a Saturday night, so we're gonna get a coat on this thing and then we're gonna get out of here. This is gonna be so cool. I'm so stoked. This really needs scuffed down. It really has like a crude texture to it. Here we are, the next day, and our Limba Special is so cool. It's not like Fender like yellow tint, but it's still kind of like yellow tint without there actually being yellow tint. So I'm not gonna do any sort of like aging or any type of you know, coloring on this. I'm just gonna leave it completely natural. When we build something else like out of Korina, we might do the like Gibson style like yellow tint, but this I'm just gonna leave the way it is because it's so neat. We do have a lot of work ahead of us though, because this is only one coat of sealer. So at this point, we have our Limba Special body with the pick guard and the bridge pickup mounted. Now, because this is getting like a Fender style tremolo, getting that pickup mounted in this body, there is not a lot to work with. So I had to modify quite a bit. Assembly is the hardest part of this, by the way, at least with like an electric guitar. You know, it can fit together with like white wood and everything, and all the finishing can get done, and then you get here and it's just like, wow, this needs work. So that was kind of this guitar, just because the thin body, I had to modify my screws. But here's our neck after a couple of days, just like really getting dry and everything. This guitar neck is totally unpolished, but at this point it's still got like a really nice gloss. This is gonna look so cool with the guitar, especially because it is a Limba body. It's just 3-piece. Is gonna get a true, genuine Fender tremolo. Put on these Grover tuners. Sweet. These are nice. For 2 years, I left my cabinet making job, and I went and I worked in an automotive shop. I just always wanted to learn about cars, and I've always loved cars, and just knowing how to work on them, it taught me a lot. It's a really big deal that I did that. But I learned from I just found like this old guy that had a shop, and I just like learned from him. So one thing I learned is that the 9mm socket is really rare to use. I think there's one ABS sensor on one type of car, and then a couple bolts on the 6.2 liter Ford V8s, like the Super Duties. But other than that, I've never really seen a 9mm socket used. But it works really well for guitar building, because these tremolo studs, it just fits over so perfectly without actually touching the body. I bought these pickups from the Tone Hatch guy again. These are the Alnico 5 and 2, I believe, which is pretty cool. We're just checking out different pickups from different makers. If anybody has any suggestions, drop the suggestion in the comments, and we'll get pickups from, you know, whoever. I do want to make my own pickups at some point, though. That'd be pretty sweet. But for now, making the guitar bodies and necks and doing all the finishing and assembly is kind of enough for now. But I really enjoy the whole process, and I think making pickups would be a lot of fun. Like, the tedious nature of making a guitar pickup would be cool, but I've never done it before, so like the most exciting parts of the whole process. I remember the first time I put strings on my first guitar, it was like really exciting. I've never played a guitar like this. A Telecaster with the standard switch plate and a tremolo, it doesn't really get in the way that bad. It's better than I expected, that's for sure. The Limba neck is super bizarre. And the Limba body, I mean, it's a 3-piece painted Limba body, so there's nothing like it. It really has grown on me since I put the strings and did the nut and everything on it, so I'm stoked about this one. It's not offensive. It has a really unique sort of like percussive sort of. stack the strings. It's not offensive. I'm trying to make it as offensive as I can. I have the tone control all the way up, and it's just like, it's got such a warm, sort of like woody, natural tone. It's not like trebly and electrified and in your face. I'm not sure if that's how the bridge is mounted, and the fact that it just has like basically a Stratocaster bridge setup on it. I'm not sure if that's the fact that it's just made of Limba. I really don't know. We'll experiment some more with like a hardtail setup on like a Limba body. That would be really cool. And the Limba neck is just absolutely out of this world and totally bizarre. I've never seen anything like it. So definitely one of a kind. This one's the Limba Special. And you're in Dave's world. Thanks for visiting. We're going to put this one on reverb.com and just kind of see what happens. So we'll have the listing in the description.